Comics is an art form that has really struggled.
Darren has always had a passion for drawing and illustrating, making it a focus in his life. He has since started producing his own comics and currently has a few available to the public. His projects include The Hammer of Thor and Crimson.
Norse mythology, where these original characters come from, is something when I was, when I was taking English in high school, we studied a whole section on Norse mythology, and that was way more interesting and wonderful to me than any Shakespeare or any poetry. It just spoke to me directly. I just loved the mythology of these larger-than-life mythical characters. I took The Hammer of Thor. It was one of my favorite stories. It's about how Thor gets his hammer Mjolnir forged. But this is what the page looks like when it's shrunk down on a photocopy machine. And all of your comic book art is done on this size paper. It varies. I mean, this is a standard, and the reason why this is a standard is because it's big enough that you can get in all that detail, but it's not so big that it would take you a year and a day to pencil.
After a fire in Darren's home that damaged most of his art, Crimson was one of the remaining works that survived.
So this is an original page from Crimson. This is one of the ones that survived the fire. I actually kind of like this page, the way she's so fully in dark. There's a lot of guys that, like Bernie Wrightson, comic book artists, that show me that sometimes less is more. So without putting any detail in her, just solid black, it actually looks kind of cool. And that's what an original page looks like. My friend Al Cortina did the movie Crimson, and I did the comic book version of it, and it was instant reference. It was so easy because I didn't have to go on the internet and look up a cat for an hour and a half to try and find a cool pose that I liked. It was just literally watch the movie, hit pause at a cool frame, and then just draw it, and that's your comic book. So that one, I'm happy that it survived the fire. But when I printed The Hammer of Thor, when it shrunk down from the original size pages, I noticed that there's some areas I didn't like as much, and for the first time in my life, I took a marker and started inking on the actual printed comic itself and fixing things at that scaled down point. And I went in a bunch of areas I didn't like, I kind of blacked them out, and some places where I just didn't have as much sense of detail as I do now, I added them in with the marker. So you saw the pencils. This is what it looks like inked. With the writing I did myself. Now I'll probably use a computer because writing's not my strong suit. And then that's how it prints. So hopefully comic books will not go the same way that a lot of beautiful art mediums have gone, that we've lost over under the auspices of the almighty computer.
Although technology is advancing at a rapid rate, Darren still has faith that as long as there are some to enjoy and appreciate the creativity and hard work that go into the craft, comic books and illustration will always hold a place in this world. Reporting for Shaw TV, I'm Christian LeMay.